Hey everyone, Regal Reviews here. It is White Rice Wednesday, so it's time for my Survivor recap. So, yeah, I did not know till a few days ago that this is 2 hours tonight, so yeah, double dose of Survivor, awesome. So bear with me a little bit because there's a lot going on in these episodes. So, very good episodes, by the way. Episode 1 dealt with Taylor's elimination last week, and justice well served. I mean, there was no hard feelings except for Jay. I mean, everyone agreed that he should have went home because he was hiding food. So they all agreed and came to an unanimous decision. And Jay's, of course, pissed because, he's now on the bottom. Hannah's kind of flirting with Ken. They kind of had a nice moment on the beach. Hannah's kind of trying to figure out who she can trust in the game. And she really thinks that she can trust Ken. Chris and Jessica are definitely gunning for each other, and Chris is in a power position, and Jessica's also a strategic threat. So I see both parties, and they both have like their own little armies going on. The reward challenge was awesome. It was, you got to win pizza and wings. I mean, who doesn't love pizza? So the first challenge, they split up into teams, and whoever drew a rock didn't get to play, and it was actually Jay who drew the rock, and he didn't get to participate in the challenge, and I thought that was karma and everything. So they had to compete in this obstacle course. They had to jump up, get the keys, unlock these blocks, and they all had to be different colors on every side. And it ended up being Zeke, Adam, Hannah, Brett, I believe Sunday that won on the reward. So they're all having a good time. They're all having a good time enjoying that pizza. But the people on the beach, I mean, they're eating the pizza like right there, so they can literally smell it and kind of hear what's going on. David had a moment at the reward challenge where he didn't want to participate because he didn't want to bring his team down, and for once in Survivor history, I believe, they're actually encouraging him to participate, not saying, no, you go ahead and sit out. They were encouraging him, and he had an emotional moment where he was crying. I mean, it was very inspiring to see that the team was backing him up and everything. I mean, even though David didn't win the reward challenge, I mean, he kind of sees, like, who he can trust in the game, and he kind of believes in himself more. So, David and Ken seem to have a great relationship. Ken promised David that he'll never write his name down. But at the same time, there's different voting blocks going on. One side is Jay because, he's a threat because he's a liar and conniver. Adam wants him gone. Then it's the whole Jessica and Chris scenario. So they want each other gone. So the immunity challenge, of course, is always important, but tonight is very crucial. So the immunity challenge was a bouncing challenge in each interval. They like kind of hold on to this stick that balances totem pole, and they had to like balance on this thing here. And the wind kind of had like a factor in that. And it was actually David who came out on top and won the immunity challenge. So congratulations, David, on winning immunity. That is, Jeff said it perfectly. That's why you never give up in the game. So David is at a really good spot right now because he has immunity and he also has the idol in his pocket. So they're wondering who they should get rid of first. They think that they could definitely save Jay for a different time. So it's really between Jessica and Chris tonight. And at Tribal Council, nothing really too bad or explosive happened. It ended up Chris being sent home, and I feel like they made the right decision because he was kind of controlling his other alliance, and now they're kind of free to make their own moves. And you know what? It was really different because you seen on the seasons the past episodes that the people were so bitter and whiny and acting like babies because their alliance member got voted off, and they make that about their gameplay. I mean, you've seen it in previous seasons too. But when Zeke approached Brett, he said, "No, it's all good. This is a game." Brett said, "This is just a game." He doesn't take it personally. And Sunday actually said the same thing. So everybody's acting like mature adults here. So Jay's really happy that he got to stay another day, and he's very lucky, but he also definitely needs to win this next reward challenge. I mean, not reward challenge, immunity challenge to, still be in the game, because now they want to get off Jay because, he's Jay. So, now David brought up a point that Zeke is actually a threat, that he's the one that's, I wouldn't say that he's manipulating things, but Zeke has his head in the game and knows what he's doing, and Zeke can control a lot of things, and he can win this, and vice versa. Zeke wants David gone because they see him as a likable guy and a threat. So now David and Zeke are gunning for each other. So the reward challenge was actually very interesting. They had to compete in teams of 3, and they had to slither, like their hands were tethered to their hips and their legs were together, so they had to literally slither like a snake through the sand, and it definitely was not easy. And before that, they drew rocks again, but this time whoever drew the rock got to go on the reward, and David, with the amazing luck he's having tonight, got to participate in the reward. So whoever wins, he gets to go with him and not participate at all. Even though he didn't participate at all. And I gotta say, I don't like Jay, but he really was zipping through that challenge. I really thought Jay, Will, and Ken were gonna win, but it actually ended up being Sunday, Brett, Zeke, and David went on the reward challenge, and the reward was that they got to go on a copter and they got to enjoy a sort of picnic. And Brett and Zeke actually had a moment, and Brett actually came out to Zeke, and that's definitely not an easy thing to do, especially since he was in a generation where you keep your feelings to yourself and you just keep that all in. So I got to give Brett credit for coming out. That's definitely not an easy thing to do. As Zeke described it, they have the rainbow connection going on there. So I give big props to Brett and Zeke. You guys are definitely heroes in my book. But Zeke, Sunday, and Brett are also planning that they are throwing David's name out there and they want to get rid of him. But then it's actually very interesting. They actually throw Hannah's name out there, and they don't want to, because they see that she's kind of flip-floppy and that she can't make up her mind about a lot of things, and they see that she's kind of revealing things to other people, and Zeke immediately realizes this, and he realizes he can no longer work with Hannah. So the reward challenge, it wasn't a balancing one for a change. It was actually a maze they had to go through, and they didn't know where it was going. They had to like maneuver through it by touch, and when they pulled through and it released, they had to go solve the survivor slide puzzle, and it was actually a blowout. Jay actually ended up winning immunity challenge, and nobody else made it through the maze but him. And as much as I don't like Jay, congratulations, Jay, you definitely deserve that win. So Jay's at a really good position because he has immunity, and the fact that his name's not being thrown around. So they know that David has an idol, so they definitely want to see if they could kind of flesh that out in a way. Actually, they tried to do it to Jay's idol in the first episode, but David has an idol, so he actually promised Hannah that it's their idol, that they'll use it for him, and I'm like, oh, please, David, just keep that to yourself. I mean, they see him as a threat. He needs that idol. So it's really back and forth between Zeke, David, and then David started throwing out Hannah, I believe it was David. But Tribal Council was explosive. It blew up really quick, and they're talking about trust clusters and voting blocks and what's gonna go down tonight. And even before they went to tribal council, they were actually prepared to go to rocks, and that can be very tricky. They, before they even get to the vote, David got up and played his idol, and I'm like, oh, is he gonna play for himself? Or even Hannah, and here he plays it for Ken. I'm like, Ken's name wasn't even brought up. I mean, someone, I think Sunday actually said to Hannah, when Hannah asked what's the plan, she said Ken. So I guess David heard that and thought Ken might be going home. So now Ken's safe, Jay's safe, and now it actually comes to a tie between Hannah and Zeke. And so when a tie comes, they revote, and they can only vote for Hannah and Zeke can't vote. So they go to vote again, and they're deadlocked. So now Survivor rules state that they have to come to a unanimous decision between Hannah and Zeke, or they'll draw rocks. And Will made a point, and I would have definitely agreed with Will on this one, saying that we definitely don't want to risk the game over them, so let's come to a unanimous decision. Basically, the ones on the left wanted Hannah gone, and some on the right wanted Zeke gone. So they are all arguing back and forth. There's lots of whispers going on and yelling, and they couldn't come to a unanimous decision, so they had to draw rocks. So it was either between Will, Brett, Sunday, Jessica, Adam. I'm missing somebody else, but Jessica was she's kind of indecisive. Like, she wouldn't switch her vote, but she didn't want to go to rocks. And it was actually Jessica who pulled the black rock, and Jessica got sent home. And she was visibly upset. I mean, I would be too if you got voted off. I mean, it's one thing to get voted off, but it's another thing to get out of the game because of a rock. So, yeah, I definitely feel for Jessica, but then I also think, if she just would have made a decision and chose one of them, it would be unanimous, she still would have been in the game. It would have been Zeke or Hannah. But I was worried there for my guy Adam. Was also worried for Zeke and Hannah because they're also my picks in my fantasy draft. So I'm glad that they're all still in the game. The previews for next week show that David and Will might have an alliance going on, that Will's ready to play hard, and it looks like David's in a better position now. I mean, now they have David had used his idol, so now there's an idol in play. And now, because Jessica had that legacy advantage, she actually feathered it to Ken. So if Ken's here on day 36, he can use that. So that should be interesting, because I'm very curious to see what the legacy advantage is. Also, it looks like the Loved Ones episode is next week, and that's always one of my favorite episodes. It's just so emotional and heartwarming, and it looks like Adam might use his advantage at the Loved Ones visit, or he might actually win it. I'm not sure. So that will be interesting to see if he actually plays his advantage or not. I think in his case, it would be bad if he did, because that would kind of prove Jay and his alliance, Taylor, right, that he was going to use it for the Loved Ones vote, and that would actually put a bigger target on Adam's back. So we'll have to wait and see. So I hope you guys enjoyed Survivor tonight. If you guys want to check out Survivor, it is on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. on CBS. I hope you guys enjoyed my Survivor recap, and until next time, stay regal and happy Thanksgiving.